Hey, what's up, guys? Figure out we ran out the genre magazines. Last year I went over Shock Cinema and Horror Hound. This year I've gone over Film Facts, and this is kind of the last one here. Fan of the movies, Videoscope. Now, who's a fan of the movies? I'm probably the youngest guy to remember, but like growing up in New York, if you remember the Daily News, they had the fan of the movies. This guy, apparently, he passed away 2 years ago. His name was Joe Kane. Right? He was the only columnist that was writing about genre films. They call them cult films, midnight films, right? Because they would show midnight showings in like the Village or in 42nd Street. They were doing those in Allentown, Pennsylvania, well until like the mid to later 80s. I remember the newspaper, looking through the morning call at my grandparents' house. They would show these the lurid posters that you had in the 70s. They still had those in the 80s. I remember that. In terms of, I figured I'd wait for the Fall Horror Harvest edition, but essentially, they cover as much horror as they usually cover during the year. So they cover a lot of non-horror stuff. So I guess it's similar to Monster, right? The Kindle fanzine I've mentioned. It's very similar to it in terms of its layout. I guess in terms of reviewing it, I'll just go through some of the things in here. I mean, there's a lot of information, densely packed stuff. But in terms of like the reviews, it's similar, like Scream, right? You have stuff like here for, like, for example, the Fantasia Film Festival. I'm not a fan of film festivals, but it's interesting. They cover, what is this? The horror film. I want to see this film just out of, I'm just curious to see it. But for reasons that for the opposite reasons that this is aimed for, which is, that should be my friggin' my middle name, right? And what is this? Oh my god! Oh god! Anyway, the funny thing too, isn't it a great barometer? And when you look into Rue Morgue the last couple of years, when I was going over it, when they started coming back again, you see how much this shit really shook them. Okay, it shook us, right? But the problem is we don't see this as a horror. We see this as a dystopian science fiction thing. I guess it's a horror, right? What am I talking about? I'll never tell. Another thing too, like I remember that briefly went over this and the other one. I like bats. I don't know how I missed it. This is actually fascinating. A female vampire who offs perverts. Oh, serial killer. Well, I guess that's cool. You don't want to know what a pervert was back then. You get in trouble now. Then she wants to go to a psychiatric facility. That's interesting. So, I don't know. I might want to check that out, but I'm not. To get that collection, I don't know. Interesting. I didn't know this. There's look at this. There's an Italian neo-realist film with Elizabeth Taylor where she's an absolutely insane woman. I think I'll pass on that. Alright, so Forever Halloween. That's my other nickname. Right. Was it Gravy? Oh, here we go with the whole gravy tomato sauce thing. Nobody in New York called it gravy. All right, guys. Sorry, that was a Jersey thing. And he meets Kooky Bethany. Kooky Bethany. Young lady. Whoa, slow down. It must be science fiction. Oh, look at this about cannibalism. Look, there's a restaurant called Raoul. That's clever. Next, you got Halloween Kills. 4K. I don't even know what that is. I'm too old for this, man. I like how he mentions that it's way better than the 2018 film, although it's not really a good film, but it's still better than the disappointing. Hell yeah, that movie fucking sucked. Excuse my language. And yeah, hell yeah. So I have no desire to see the last one. I think this is gonna be the one. And this film, Rue Morgue had gone over this. I want to see this, man. I'm gonna get my hands on this. That's why. It doesn't make a difference how much crap you have or what annoying thing somebody's writing to look cool in front of other people for, because that's what it always is, right? And this lays it out pretty nice here. Wine coolers. Remember wine coolers? I have a story about that as a kid. My neighbor's mother, she didn't give a fuck. She bought Bartles and James wine coolers and gave it to us kids. And yeah, the alcohol level is not high, but when you're a kid, you know, whatever. It was a funny memory, and I'm not gonna say anything else about that. Yeah, so I'd like to check that out. I'm not gonna edit here. Look, Dracula vs. Frankenstein. Like the dude that played Dracula, man, he's funny. He looks like the dude from System of a Down. That ending, man, Dracula wins. He rips Frankenstein apart. I was like, what? I remember being so angry as a kid at that. And Fu Manchu. Oh, I like here you get the little. It's highly unlikely this film would get made today. The Asian character being played by white man. The guy who played Charlie Chan. Oh, and this is cool. I didn't know that the Fu Manchu. Actually, I'm rooting for Fu Manchu. He basically, his family was killed during the Boxer Rebellion by apparently, I guess, a French general. So he wants to get revenge against them. I don't have a problem with that. So I'm with the Boxers, man. Yeah. But flipping the script, all right, to show you that I'm the truly most fair guy in the world. The community is just to an Asian man being portrayed as an obsessed killer intent on murdering white people, especially with the epidemic of anti-Asian violence currently plaguing the community. It's always been plaguing the community, and since he's and it shouldn't be a bother, it doesn't reflect reality because the people he wants to murder are white, which are not the people that are attacking your things. Also, there was a character that the jeez. Notice how they put things in big letters, right? Like the other thing I just showed you with that movie, the all caps, right? All caps means that this is something that is sacred. Anyway, that's me just messing around. I don't feel like editing. I'm just going right through. Never saw these films. Billy the Kid vs. Dracula, Jesse James vs. Frankenstein's daughter. I gotta check them out. I know where I can watch it for free, but I'm not gonna tell anybody. You know, you guys know. Alright, this is not a horror film. This film, man, I remember seeing this on Channel 9. The ending of this film is one of the best endings ever, okay? Even if this commie scumbag wrote the script, I'll give it away, essentially. You know, these people are on a plane. They're all, it's like Gilligan's Island. All these disparate people. The rich guy, the old couple, the guy who's being escorted to, I assume, be executed, right? A criminal. And they crash into Africa. Uh-oh, careful. And they get surrounded by these headhunters who are slowly closing in on them. And so they're trying to fix the plane, but they don't have enough fuel to carry everybody. Right? And some of the people get killed, but at the end, right, this one guy wants to go on, and they choose him not to. And this guy gets the gun away from him and kills him, the criminal Vasquez. Right? And there's an old couple, and the old couple is like, we'll stay behind. Like, we had our lives. I'll never forget that. I was like, these old people were like, they were like, yeah, you know, keep the place for yourself. We had our time. Okay? We're not going to hold on, you know. And this guy's like, shit, I'm going to be basically being taken to be executed if I escape to, you know, from the valley here. They're going to just execute me like originally. So I might as well stay here, and I'll put the old couple out of their misery. And they're like, oh, no, you know. And he's like, don't worry, I have 3 bullets left. And then the plane flies off, and he shoots the old couple, right? And then he just sits by the tree, if I remember this correctly, and he sees the plane fly off. He smiles, opens the chamber to the gun. He only had 2 bullets. Right? He knew that he didn't have a bullet for himself. Right? And he just smiles as he sees the plane fly away, and he lights a cigarette. You know, and then you see the shadows of the headhunters now encroaching, surrounding him, but he's just enjoying his cigarette. What a great ending that was, man. That was a great ending. I'll never forget it, you know. And I was kind of out of character for the horror season, but I just always remember that film. So now going through here, Portland Horror Film Festival. Well, I'm not gonna say anything other than if you look right at all these films, and every single one, right? Every single one. The main protagonist is a female. It's all female. It's like the comic covers in the comic stores. It's all female. Okay, it's 90% female. Oh, you got a problem with that? I'm just saying. Okay, upper middle class bourgeois white women, and even the ones in other countries that want to emulate that. That's all you have now. That's the only people that make any money, apparently. Like this one here, this Brazilian woman who I assume is a privileged Brazilian woman with money. Oh, and the ideas you want to communicate through this film, right? The ultra right, right? White supremacy. Right. So it's you see what I'm talking about. Am I angry about it? Am I reacting to it? No, it's your culture is dying, and this is one of the things that happens at the end of a culture. This is what happens. So we need to drive on through to the next thing, and not keep this living dead thing going. The movie's playing over and over. It's getting old now. And the viewer didn't like Dog Soldiers. Yo, I love Dog Soldiers. Okay, talk about a masculine film. Perhaps why people don't like it. Or Neil Marshall. Apparently, they really don't. He has a bad name, right? Remember? Because he has a lot of masculine dudes. Even though he has ass-kicking females too. You have to have only ass-kicking females, I guess. You can't have these blokes. Of course, this was great zombie. The first zombie movie to show them ripping guts out and eating them. Right, don't open the window. They used to show that on TV, so don't open the window. And this film, Massacre at Central High, which is essentially the symbology of this film. This is essentially, you could say, what has happened. You know, except I question if the jocks were ever as bad as it was said they were. You know, like in Revenge of the Nerds, imagine if the nerds were the bad. And that's a very, very clumsy metaphor, mean metaphor. Anyway, just resting it out. Klaus motherfucking Kinski. Very toxic masculinity. Good thing he's been dead for like 30 years. Yeah, he wouldn't give a shit. And I like that Prey, right? The very anti-French film, Prey. Okay, the very anti-French film, Prey. Alright, and the very Comanche Man film as well. Prey only gets a little thing here. I like that. So, and that's Videoscope, right? I think these are like right. I think these are the columns and stuff from back in the day, right? Printed up in these actual books. And that's Videoscope. Is there anything else here? Rounding it out. Heavy Metal Parking Lot. Oh, let's make fun of the 80s. Rob Halford. Rob Halford, you know. I jump his bounds. I like that. Remember that. Parking lot. Heavy Metal Parking Lot. So you hipsters think it's so funny, but man, all of us would love to go back there at this point. So, alright. What else here? Oh, hey, madame. Yeah, not familiar with the Dutch Sex Wave collection. Sounds good. Anyway, that's Videoscope. Fan of the movies. Yeah, it's right. You think it's the Twilight Zone? We're living in the fucking Twilight Zone. Okay, you wish it was the Twilight Zone. But it's called your real life, guys. The reality. All right, later.